Harvey's Hot Takes. Here's Bryan Hayes dishing out takes as hot as a Harvey's original burger. I gotta say, too, look how good this guy looks. He just came back from a vacation. You're tanned, you're rested, you're ready to go, and we're gonna talk about Auston Matthews. We showed it to you earlier, had an incredible game against the Washington Capitals on Wednesday night. Scored goals number 56 and 57 on the season. Now, Bryan, this is his first multi-goal game since February 21st. Back on February 21st, he was on pace for like 75 goals. That talk kind of quieted down a bit. But are you ready to jump back on this 70-goal Auston Matthews train again?
Absolutely, Jay. I needed one night, and I'm telling you right here, right now, the race to 70 is still alive. This guy is an absolute goal-scoring machine. He has proven that not only all season, but throughout his career. Anyone doubting this guy, I can't understand why you would get to that point. And I'm sure he's heard about it the last couple of weeks. And obviously, statistics, yes, they can fool you. You can manipulate statistics whichever way you choose. Coming into tonight, you could look at it and say, well, he's only scored so many goals in the last amount of games. All he's got to do is have one heater night, and he's back on pace. And that's exactly what happened tonight. I'm sure he's heard, oh, he can't score as many goals without Mitch Marner. Obviously, Marner's a spectacular player. He's a great setup man. He makes Matthews' life easier. But you're not the best goal scorer in the world because you rely on who you're playing with. It helps you, but it doesn't define you. And Matthews proved that tonight. This guy is a rock star when it's scoring goals. I think it was fitting that he did it in Washington when Ovechkin also had two. That's clearly a big story tonight. Ovi chasing Gretzky. Now he's inside 50. But this is the best goal scorer in the world. And to bring Ovechkin into scope here in terms of what we're talking about here with Matthews, and I think how at times we lose sight of what this guy does every single night. We talked about it coming into the game tonight. His, goals per game at this point in his career, they are better statistically than what Ovechkin was at that point in his career. But Ovi's greatest career season in terms of pure goal scoring was 65 goals. I believe Matthews will pass that this year. I still, like I said, think 70 is in reach. But the next greatest goal scoring season of Alex Ovechkin's career was 56. Matthews passed that tonight. So Matthews obviously had 60 a couple of years ago. He's got 57 now. I think 70 is certainly still alive. But if he hits 60, which he will, maybe this weekend, they got Edmonton on Saturday, Carolina on Sunday, he will become the first player in the modern era to have two 60-goal seasons. This guy is an absolute machine. He showed it tonight. He showed it throughout the season. He showed it through his career. He had 4 the first game he played in. So, yes, I believe 70 is alive and well. And I think Matthews made sure people were aware of that tonight.
Very fun, too, for us to cover the game, have something to look forward to. Jays fans were looking forward to the team's management upgrading the offense in the offseason. It didn't really happen so much, but they weren't that concerned about the pitching because, Bryan, as you know, last year the Jays pitching was terrific. However, this spring, key injuries to key members of their pitching staff. Should Ross Atkins and company have done more to upgrade the pitching this past offseason?
I don't know if they needed to upgrade the pitching, but they needed to be prepared certainly for more depth because what has been proven throughout the spring is it always comes back to the arms. Obviously, the offense has got to be better. We know that, Jay. It was well documented last year. It was a borderline miracle they won 89 games and made the playoffs, considering they completely lacked a clutch gene at the plate. And they're banking on internal improvement. They did not add much to the bats. Turner's here, Vogelback's here, maybe Votto's here, but they need Vladdy to be great. He's had a great spring. They need Springer to be great, Bo to be great, Kirk to be great. All of them statistically have been outstanding throughout the spring, but it's always going to come back to the arms in pitching in baseball. And what we have realized here through the spring is arms are incredibly precarious. And you said it, Jay. Last year, it was a miracle they were as healthy as they were. Alek Manoah didn't get injured. He just pitched his way out of the rotation. But Gausman was great and healthy. Bassett was great and healthy. Barrios was great and healthy. Kikuchi was great and healthy. Ryu came back from Tommy John and pitched. That's how much everything broke for them last year. And now you've got Gausman, who has not pitched at all in the spring. We'll see if he's ready for the start of the year. It sounds doubtful. Alek Manoah is a completely different story, but he has not been healthy. I think that's a story where we've gotten to a point where they're just hoping for innings out of him, which again speaks to the reality of their staff right now, that if they get innings out of Manoah, forget Cy Young caliber pitching, innings out of him, that feels like a win at this point. And that says nothing on, or we haven't even reached the point where we're getting to the bullpen, where Romano is now having issues and Swanson have issues. And when you're talking elbow and forearm, which is what they're talking with both those pitchers, and I know the MRI came back clean, but those are terrifying terms. When you're talking elbow issues and forearm issues before you've even reached the start of the year, their bullpen was really stout last year. Their staff was really stout, and Romano's got to be a stud. Swanson's got to be a stud. Gosman's got to be a stud. And all of them are currently in precarious positions, so it's a real struggle for them. They need Bowden Francis to step up now, Mitch White to step up right now. This is not what we were thinking was going to be the case, but that's baseball, that's sports, man. You got to make sure you got the arms. You better make sure you have some depth.
All right, let's move on to the NFL draft. Just 5 weeks away, Brian. The Chicago Bears hold that #1 pick. They've traded Justin Fields to the Steelers. They've acquired Keenan Allen and DeAndre Swift. It's a lock, a stone-cold lock. They'll take a quarterback. How vital is it for GM Ryan Poles to get this pick right?
I think it's mandatory. I think his career is basically on the line, and the Bears fans are certainly hoping for it, because what we've witnessed recently is the quarterback position exposes desperation naturally. It is a quarterback-driven league, right? They have changed the rules for that. They have promoted offense. They protect quarterbacks more than ever, and what you're seeing is turnover at a crazy rate in the NFL. You just mentioned Justin Fields moving on. They just drafted him a couple of years ago. That 21 draft had Fields, he's gone. Mac Jones in New England, he's gone. Trey Lance in San Francisco, he's gone. The turnover's crazy in the NFL. You look at the 2018 draft, Baker Mayfield, first overall. He's not in Cleveland anymore. Josh Rosen, he never even made it. Sam Darnold, he's not in New York anymore. Their turnover is crazy, but it's necessary, and the Bears are the latest proof of that. They just had Fields. He's got talent. Could he be good? Maybe, but they don't have time to wait for it. So they move off from him. They're likely going to take Caleb Williams. I think it would be a shock if they didn't. By all accounts, he's going to be a very good player. But they said the same thing about Bryce Young last year in Carolina, and look what happened. Now, the Carolina Panthers are an absolute disaster. I don't believe it was all Bryce Young at all. But the reality is, of football and the quarterback position, you have like a year and a half, 2 years to prove you can win, or there's a chance they're going to move off you. Like, we could be a year away from them having that discussion on Bryce Young in Carolina. That's how quickly it happens. You need to find the exception to the rule. The guy like Mahomes, the guy like Jordan Love. I do think, even though I'm a Packers fan, I'll admit my bias, it shocks me, Jay, that more teams around the NFL don't look what the Packers have done with Rodgers and with Love. Let guys sit on the bench for 2 or 3 years. Mahomes sat on the bench his rookie year. Tom Brady was on the bench his rookie year. Naturally, he was a 6th-round pick, but still, great quarterbacks. They can sit, they can ripen, over-ripen, and be ready to go. But the quarterback position, it exposes desperation. It happens all around the league. You either have a guy or you don't. And if you don't, you can't win. And if you can't win, you can't keep your job. We'll see what happens in Chicago moving forward.
We like the move. You and I talked about it. We like the moves Poles has made leading up to the draft, but you're right. His whole career may be on the line with this one. Great takes this week, buddy. Love this segment. And just like Harvey's has been serving Canadians for 65 years, this guy's been dishing out hot takes since 1983, the year that the A-Team was the #4 show in North America. I was going to call Brian and I the TSN A-Team, but I'm told that title contractually belongs to Gord Miller and Mike Johnson. Brian, thanks for this.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Customize your burger and get it delivered from our app to your door. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.